I mean, yeah, he's a good guy to know. Yes. No, not I guess, definitely. So, whenever you're ready, dear. I'd just like to thank Miss Vickie for playing alongside me. I have a hard time speaking without music. Let the sirens pass. And I also want to thank somebody named Mike who's in the audience tonight, and he went down to the city with me on Sunday and he played his beautiful instrument that I'm not going to be able to remember the name of, but he played it with me at the stand in Manhattan on 19th and 3rd, I believe. We went down there and did the open mic, and I told Mike when we were going down there, I said, I don't ever want to do this again, I just want to make sure that strangers find me funny. Because I mean, your friends are always going to find you funny, I don't want to waste anybody's time. But without further ado, I've been very reticent about doing this, but I can't afford therapy anymore, and the drugs change the fundamental nature of my mortal coil, so fuck them and fuck the pharma companies while we're at it. Pfizer, etc. This is my 5th time ever speaking to strangers through amplification. Previously, I've done the material of a one Lenny Bruce and a one William Bill Hicks. And may they both rest in peace, Anno Domini August 3rd, 1966, Anno Domini February 26, 1994, respectively. Bill Hicks died of pancreatic cancer, and I don't know what Lenny Bruce died of, probably of a broken heart because he liked to date strippers. That's just who he was. Hey, we all like what we like. And while I'm asking for reverence for the deceased, I'll go ahead and extend that in honor of my father Berker, who's here from the great state of the great nation of Texas, if I may say, not anymore, but once was. Extend a reverence to one Stevie Ray Vaughan in Domini August 27th, 1990, and a one excuse me, I need to say this correctly, and also when I speak in Spanish, I sound like a soccer announcer, so just bear that in mind. Selena Quintanilla Perez, I told you. Anno Domini March 31st, 1995. Stevie, it is flooding down in Texas, and if you hadn't taken that helicopter seat from Eric fucking Clapton, you'd probably have to see it yourself and laugh with Guadalupe and Panhandle trash like me, which is what I am. I'm from the Guadalupe River Valley and I'm from the Panhandle. I may have been born in Austin, but I don't claim it. And that's a time and a tale for another time. And I said something to Stevie, and to Bill I say, if you're in marketing and advertising, please kill yourself because humanity doesn't need you. And government, and yeah, just government too. But to Selena, I need to say something really quick, and I have this tattooed on my back. I've had it there for about 6 years, and what it says, and I'm not going to say it in English out of respect to Selena, may she rest in peace. I'll say it in Spanish. If you speak Spanish, if you'd like to know what it is, I'll tell you, but not on stage. Again, goal, right? Todo lo que soy es gracias a las mujeres que me educaron, me hicieron, que creen en mí. Gracias por su vida, gracias por su voz, gracias por la luz y gracias sobre todo por amor y sonrisa. Si hay alguna justica en este mundo, está contada en el paricio mientras habla. Gracias, Selena. And now that that's all settled, how about we start my bit? What do I got left? 5 minutes, 6 minutes? I think I can handle that. So my time tonight's not going to be stand-up comedy. I'm not a comedian. We live in a post-satire age, so the job of comedian doesn't exist anymore because just to speak the truth is funny enough. So we don't need comedians to make light of things, to tell us truth. Just speak the truth and people will laugh because we live in a time that's very absurd. And I may be a lot of things, I was a small business owner, I'm no longer, but I am a landowner in the Hudson Valley, a small percentage of it, a cook, a cashier, a plumber, an electrician, and a ditch digger. But I'm also a manic depressive, an alcoholic, and a drug addict. And I don't mind telling you. Is there any children in here? No? Okay, because I'm going to say fuck a lot. Just wanted to make sure.
12-year-olds.
Thanks, Brad. You're giving me the fuel I need. And you too, John. John Miles, People's Bicycle. Brad, I don't know what your company is, but I'm sure it's great. I am a human person who has a lot of feelings and a big heart and has to get something out of his chest before it eats him alive. So if I go over 8 minutes, it won't be longer than 12, I promise. And worry not, there's going to be laughs, but there's also going to be some other things like crying, despair. I may cry, I don't know. I can't tell the future, but there's going to be vulgarity and hyperbole too, so if any of that offends you, I recommend you have a cigarette or make a phone call outside right about now. What What is it that idiots say? Liquid courage? Yeah, it's kind of true. I didn't mean to use the word idiot. The title of this piece is called Panic Attack, and the following is a word-for-word transcription of a voice memo that I recorded about a week and a half ago when I was driving in a car and I was having a panic attack because some motherfucker who will remain unnamed cut my water to my restaurant. And if you need three things to run a restaurant in this world, you need water, power, and food. And Phil, who owns this place, knows that better than most. You need alcohol too, but that's only if you want to make a profit. Please support businesses that don't serve alcohol because we need them. All right, Dad, this is for you. Happy Father's Day. I love you. This is to you. Yeah. I like to make things. I don't like to buy them, so this is for you. And this is for actually all the Texans that I previously mentioned. It's for my mother. It's actually for anybody that lives in the nation of Texas. And if you feel the need to pick the tempo up because I start yelling, feel free. I won't yell though. It's a nice microphone. The only solace I take in your early demise, William, Selena, and Stevie, and everyone else, including my grandfather, by the way, whose name is Lemoyne Gordon Edwards. And thank you for your service, Lemoyne, served in Crier as I was corrected today, bomber pilot. But I'm gonna stop going off on tangents and get in my fucking act. Thank you for your early, the only solace I take in your early demise is that you did not have to live to see our great state, the state of William Barrett Travis, the state of Samuel Houston, the state of Lyndon fucking Baines Johnson, who passed the Civil Rights Act and the Great Society, by the way. Watch the movie on HBO, Bryan Cranston's great. Be hijacked, as it has over the last 20 years, by neocon shitheads who want to defund social services like Planned Parenthood that, by the way, provide health services to immigrant women who can't speak English. So your fucking abortion argument is invalid and ibid by its very nature, you motherfucker. Arrest immigrants who just want to make a better life for their families. No mames, bueno, pise en mi, comprende? George Bush, Ted Cruz, Rick Perry, Ron Paul, David Dewhurst, etc., and so forth et al. You are ideological occupiers who have hijacked my state. The state that I was born in, the state that I claim, the state that is mine. I live in New York, but I don't live in Texas because of all the names I just mentioned. And you hijacked it for your radical purposes. They do not represent me and my kin, same as Donald Trump does not represent you good people at all. Yes, by the way, the fucker's from Jersey. Why does he claim to be from New York? Well, I don't know where he was born, but Trump is Jersey. Let's be honest. If you're from Jersey, no offense, but your state smells like garbage. Does not represent you fine folks. It does. You literally cross the state lines and I smell garbage. I don't know what it is. You call yourself the Garden State? Is that a joke? They are neo-fascists who spend their day talking about voter ID laws and putting the Bible back in textbooks. Meanwhile, there are 6 million immigrant mouths that go hungry every night. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free. Emma Lazarus, 1883. Well, Mrs. Lazarus, may I speak to you candidly and may you rest in peace. This is me lifting my lamp besides that golden door. Deceased Anno Domini, November 19th, 1887, from consumption, I think, because that's what everybody died from back then. Either consumption or the rickets or... Your words will not be confined to the dust of history's winds. Those of us who remember you do remember what you said and what is engraved on the Statue of Liberty, by the way. Not that that matters to anybody, but I hope it does. Last thing on that, unless your name is running with the fucking Bears, then you are an immigrant too. May have been 7 generations ago. Thank you. Feel free to do that whenever. I don't care. I can't hear it. And I'm not going to remember any of this anyway. Doesn't matter. You're an immigrant. We all are. And a society is judged by how it treats the weakest and its poorest and those that cannot provide for themselves by their nature, whether they're disabled or they're illegal or they're children or they're infirmed or they're old. Society is judged by those that cannot take care of themselves. So when we argue about Jim Crow voter ID laws, I get sick to my stomach and I'm going off script here. Hang on. And people like LBJ are doing a solid 200 revolutions per minute in their grave right now anytime the words voter ID are spoken in my state house. This is why I don't vote. I vote with my dollar and with my mouth, but I would be caught dead in the ground before I pull that lever. We live in a democracy, at least that's what we all agree that we do, even though we don't, but that's not the point. Well, that is the point, but it's not the point I'm going to get into because you don't have 2 hours and neither do I. The burden of ID should be on the state, not the individual. That's the difference between a right and a privilege. I hate that I have to say this. The difference between a right and a privilege is you have the privilege to drive. That's why you carry ID, because you earn that privilege to operate a motor vehicle on public roads. A sovereign citizen in a democracy does not have the privilege to vote. They have the right to vote. So the fact that we ask my black and anyone who says otherwise is just trying to strip my black and brown brothers of their natural born rights, and that makes me fucking sick to my stomach. And it should make you sick to your stomach too. Because not long ago, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, or whatever was told that he couldn't hold a job because he was a fucking Irishman, or he couldn't fucking vote because he was black, and he had to recite all 19 amendments, which is what Jim Crow was, which is what voter ID is Jim Crow. It is. It's disenfranchising minority voters because they want to hold on to their power. Keep going off script. Anyway, what I'm saying is Vickie and I are available for children's parties. Bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, sweet 16s, quinceañeras, PTA and or Boy Scout meets. Let us talk to your young people. Please, let me tell them that we're living in the fall of Western civilization. We are, and I don't say that at parties because I don't want to be the guy that ruins the vibe because we're all there to get drunk and fuck and do drugs and shit. But we are living in the fall of Western civilization, and I hope you're all ready for your children to speak Chinese. Oh man, I'm great at weddings too. Yeah, no, it's very uplifting stuff. Yeah, I don't need to talk about any of that. I'm pretty sure my time's almost up, so I'm going to use my remaining time. It's only going to take 2 minutes if you're counting the clock. I'm doing this because when I was 14, I went to the Paramount Theater on Congress Avenue and 7th Street in Austin, Texas, and my mother took me to see a comedian named John Leguizamo. And John Leguizamo was just getting famous, and he'd done some bad Steven Seagal movies, but he was about to release Ghetto Clown, and which is a great special, by the way. If you have HBO now, watch it. But John Leguizamo performed for me when I was 14 and my mother, and we went there because we had seen his HBO special and wanted to see the voices and the characters and all his whole like pageantry and everything. I loved him. That's because back then, I mean, you know, he's a good comedian, but he's kind of like, yeah, it's a little gimmicky, but whatever. But he did something beautiful that night, and I'll never forget it. And what he did is he said, one of my heroes died 2 weeks ago, and that hero's name was Spalding Gray. Spalding Gray, and I'm going to get this right, killed himself Anno Domini January 11th, 2004. His body was found March 7th, 2004. He jumped off the Staten Island ferry, and if you don't know who Spalding Gray is, please find out. Because the reason I'm reading on paper right now, and I didn't memorize this, is not because I'm lazy. I am lazy, but I didn't memorize it because of that. I did this up here as a tribute to him because what Spalding Gray used to do is he used to get up on stage and read from a yellow legal pad about all the things he was pissed off about, and people actually came to watch him speak. And he was funny, but he was literally funny because he was just pissed. And he's a social critic like Christopher Hitchens or, I don't know, name it, Chomsky, whoever. But he would just get up and just speak for 2 hours and people would listen to him. And so John Leguizamo that night said, fuck my act, fuck everything, I'm not doing any of my act. And people came out to see his act and they were pissed. He said, I'm not doing that. I'm honoring Spalding Gray, and I'm going to read to you what I think about what's going on. And this was 3 years after 9/11, mind you, and he was from New York, so it was all about that. But anyway, my point is that to John Leguizamo, to William Hicks, to Selena, to my father, to Stevie, to all of them, I say this, and I mean it, and I'm not being sarcastic, and this is my sign-off, and goodbye, and thank you for your time, and thank you for listening to me. My sign-off is this, and I say it to Spalding more than I say it to anyone, because I come from a family of manic depression and suicide and all the other lovely things that we love to talk about at dinner. And that's this. And I want to sign off every show that I do with this, and it is thank you for fighting the good fight. Because it's a silent fight, and it's a fight that the only people who know what the fight is are the people that are also going through it. So thank you, and thank y'all for your time.